are some of the biggest money mistakes that I've made and how you can avoid making those same mistakes. The first one was living beyond my means. It was a major issue in my 20s. I was guilty of spending more money than I earned, and it wasn't because I wasn't making a decent amount of money. I kept telling myself that I could make those small payments. One small payment became 10 of those small payments, and that's when it became unmanageable. This bad habit led me to use my credit cards to buy things that I couldn't afford or pay entirely upfront. As a result, I struggled to pay off my debt. That led me down a very depressing path financially. I was on this cycle of debt that was so hard to break. So in order to avoid this mistake, I learned to create a budget and stick with it. This helped me to spend money on things that I could afford and avoid using credit cards unless I could pay them off in full each month. Another tip that I found helpful was tracking my spending. At first, I was not tracking anything. Every time I would order takeout, I would never track it. And then I'll look at my funds at the end of the week and I'd be like, shoot, like what happened to all the money that I had? $7 here and $15 here really added up by the end of the week. Tracking my spending helped me to identify where I was spending a lot of my money really stupidly. It showed me where I was overspending and where I need to adjust my budget. In addition to that, I started to look for ways that I could increase my income. I worked full time. I started applying for greater positions with higher pay. I started side hustles. I even looked for ways to start investing my money. This helped me to generate more income and is helping me to completely pay off my debt. Another mistake I made was not investing wisely. The way I was investing was stupid, dumb, and ignorant. I had no idea what I was doing. I just heard people talking about investing and decided, yo, I want to hop on this too because it's trendy and it sounds like it's a get rich quick thing. Here's a gem. The get rich quick schemes rarely work if they even ever do. I would hear about a hot stock or some crypto and jump right in without doing any research. This led me to losses and stress. To avoid this mistake, take time to research and learn about where you want to invest. Invest in companies that you're familiar with. Crypto is a big one right now, and it can be a great investment with great return. But if you don't understand the market, it can be a really stupid investment. Acting on the latest meme coin because you saw somebody post about it on Twitter is a mistake, and one that I definitely made. I made the move based on popularity instead of actual thorough research. Not doing sound research will cost you in the end, and I lost a lot of money doing that. But now I'm doing everything I can to understand the risk that I'm taking with each investment. I definitely encourage you guys to do the same. Sometimes you can find great resources on YouTube and also on some of those brokerage accounts, Webull, Robinhood, or Coinbase. I personally use Webull and I love Webull. It's very secure and you can invest in stocks and crypto there. It's very easy to set up, and if you guys are interested in investing, you can open an account with Webull. All you have to do is click on the link in my description and you'll see where you guys can even get some free stock. But before you invest, go ahead and do your research. This mistake ate me up the most. Impulsive buying. I can't remember all of the things that I bought impulsively. I have a storage unit that holds some of those purchases, and those things probably only saw 1 or 2 uses. To right my wrongs, I've been selling some of those things that I don't use anymore. I regret buying a lot of those things in retrospect because now I see I really could have started investing. I would have been a lot more financially free than I am now. So one of the ways that I quit buying impulsively was by creating lists before I go shopping, whether it is in person or online. In person, I would just go down the aisles of the things on my list, and I definitely would avoid going down aisles that had nothing on my list because let's be real, if I go to Target, I'm probably going to buy something off impulse because it's cute. I avoided this, and if you're like me, that's probably something you should avoid as well. If I'm shopping online, I just avoid browsing and I just utilize the heck out of that search bar and type in exactly what I need and be very specific so that those things only pop up. Because if I'm browsing, that's another way that it can get me. If it's cute, I'm gonna add that joint to cart, and before I know it, that $10 purchase just came out to $210. And yeah, I'm tired of living that way. Just consider your budget. Is it in budget or is it not in budget? If it's not in budget, you probably shouldn't be buying it. Another big mistake I made was having the I deserve it mindset. Woo! I can't tell you how many times I've told myself that I'm gonna buy this because I deserve it. I work hard. I deserve this Birkin. I'm just kidding. I can't afford a Birkin and I never tried to buy it. But anyways, you get the point. Every time I wanted to buy something expensive, I would justify it with that statement. The issue with this is that it felt good at the moment, but on the back end, it ultimately put me in financially tough positions. I would often make purchases without considering the long-term consequences of my actions. The thing is, I failed to recognize that these material possessions did not equate to my happiness. It didn't make me happier. Instead, this impulsive buying habit led to a cycle of debt that felt impossible to climb out of. It made me feel sad. I didn't feel good about myself. It felt like I was setting myself back. I couldn't do things with my friends, couldn't travel the way I wanted to because I didn't have the money. But had I not bought the stupid pair of shoes, maybe I could have been traveling to Miami. That could have been a plane ticket. That could have been invested in my future. It was not until I started evaluating my spending habits that I really started to uncover the true cost of my behavior. I had to acknowledge that I was responsible for this. My mindset has been the root of the problem. I felt like my hard work merited me this purchase when really it ended up meriting me debt and uncomfortability. So did I deserve it? Yes, but I didn't get what I thought I deserved. I ended up getting something worse. I had to make a conscious effort to change my perspective and prioritize my goals over my immediate desire. Now looking back on my past and the mistakes I've made, I understand that I deserve it mindset was a trap. I had been bamboozled, hoodwinked. It's very important to understand financial success is not about buying everything you want, but rather about making decisions that will lead you to be financially free and financially independent. Another mistake I made was not having an emergency fund. About a year and a half ago, I was laid off right after having my newborn son. Oh my gosh. This was during the height of the infamous mask era, if you know what I'm talking about. I wasn't prepared for an emergency like this. Emergencies are unpredictable, and that's why setting aside funds is important and financially responsible. To avoid making the same mistake that I did, ideally you should aim to set aside at least $1,000 or 3 to 6 months of living expenses. If you listen to Dave Ramsey, he'll tell you at least save up $1,000 in your emergency account. Just from my experience, I recommend saving at least 3 months of living expenses. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening. I'm out.